I think that this is tentatively a decent idea. Because if we get assaulted while sitting down, and we also have cameras and video of that happening, we look great. And the police look awful. I'm only concerned about the barrier issue. So I would like to propose that we possibly amend this to say that you should initially hold hands, but that when you're on the ground, you release the hands. Mic check.
I'm Greg. Do I need the mic? No. I work in corporate America, and many of the people I work with have now decided starting to think the other way because they only see what the media is selling them. We know that. This is a way for us to quit allowing the media to sell that we're being violent. And if we don't do something with our perception, 2,000 and 3,000 people aren't coming down here with their kids to have their kids watch that kind of violence. We have to make this peaceful or we're going to lose our base. That's what this is about, keeping our base growing rather than shrinking. And the violence is exactly what they want to be seen on TV. In that building right there, and that building right there, because it makes us look like the predators, and we're not. We got to be peaceful.
Yeah, this gentleman here had his comment. He skipped on stack. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to say that if the sitting down and making a barrier thing makes you uncomfortable, then move behind it. And simply shut up. Because violent activity is perceived by what you say as well as by what you do. The remaining silent is very key in this procedure. And therefore, if you don't want to sit down and risk being pepper sprayed and kicked and arrested and all that, then just move behind the people who are sitting down. Because if the cops manage to get to you, that's fucked up. And the whole world will find out. Mic check.
Alright, Wiley again.
Mic check. I also want to clarify that we're not telling anybody what to do. We're simply offering a tool that people can use when they're worried about a situation becoming violent. Thank you.
Michael.
I've been accused of violence
by numerous people
for
nothing more than wearing a face mask or telling the cops that we don't want violence. I'd like to remind everybody that free speech, including militant free speech, is not violence. Marching in the street is not violent. And telling the cops we don't want to be attacked is also not violence. Condemning free speech and other nonviolent activities such as marching in the street amounts to support for the opposition to Occupy. And support for corporate fascism.
This brought to my attention at our area today something that I never really thought of. But when we're talking about this focus on non-violence, the reason it might be important is there is a kid from the Hispanic community who said that he wants to take this message home to his family and to his community, but a lot of them aren't documented. There's a huge strong contingent of people who are completely within the ethics of what I think this movement is about, who because of the fact that police can get involved, fear even showing up because of things that some of us might not even have considered. So I understand free speech, but just exercising it for the sake of doing it isn't really reasonable. And if we're going to exclude a really good, strong part of this, and this was something I didn't really think of before today, so shame on me too, but I think that needs to be considered in kind of the focus of why we're committing to this whole nonviolence issue as a whole anyways. Mic check.
Okay, David.
So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I would like to see the proposal rephrased and perhaps give a number of options, not just one option. I like to sit and meditate. Some people like to sit and hold hands. Some people like to walk away. Maybe a few things could be mentioned there.
Driller dance.
Don't yell at the
Mike check.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't yell at anyone.
Yeah.
I'm happy to write a longer website post
I'm happy to write a longer website post
that explains all the different options.
that explains all the different options.
But since this is what we're going to be passing out,
Since this is what we're going to be passing out,
we really kind of need to get this passed.
we really kind of need to get this passed.
I second that. Why didn't you get it passed before you printed it?
I didn't have time. That's not true. Literally, like, we were getting all this organized on Sunday. I needed to get it to the printer by 10 a.m. on Monday. So we just didn't have a GA between then and there.
All right, Gary. Gary, got a comment? Gary left.
Hug.
Sean, go ahead.
Sure.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Oh, you screwed up the shot, man.
There's been a lot of discussion.
There's been
A lot of discussion.
But I'd like to remind you
I'd like to remind you
that we form subcommittees
we form subcommittees
so that they can do the good work
so that they can do the good work
that we need them to do.
that we need them to do.
And we just ask that
We just ask that
they bring things to GA
they bring things to GA
to keep us posted
to keep us posted
and make sure they're not saying anything
and make sure they're not saying anything
that's radically opposed
that's radically opposed
to Occupy Denver.
to Occupy Denver.
With that being said,
Big Mouth, put it all down. They all live in Disneyland. I can hear the arpeggio. I can hear your arpeggio. Yeah. Damn, girl.